Go for it.
Okay, so the question was, half of the nation is saying that Trump is fake news. Half of the nation is saying that mainstream media is fake news. Me personally, before I even thought about Donald Trump, I loved The Apprentice. Actually, I thought everybody calls him a reality TV star, thinking it's a diss. But if you want to be honest about that, which no one has, The Apprentice was one of the first, if not the first, entrepreneurial, reality show. So that was actually a beneficial show, unlike a lot of lies on TV. But the mainstream media has been the enemy of the American people. It didn't take Donald Trump telling me that. I've known that since I was in high school. Seeing what the media does, how they mislead people into poverty, into war, and into all sorts of terrible things. So when Donald Trump talks about CNN, the New York Times, Washington Post, I agree with them 100%. They're the main reason that progressives lost the battle with Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton. Washington Post and New York Times and CNN gave Bernie no airtime. They gave Donald Trump 23 times as much airtime, to the point where Bernie Sanders had systematically no chance with all of the rigging that they were doing from media to actual structure of the Democratic primary. So the irony of it to progressives, where a lot of people call me progressive, I don't like titles, but my progressive friends, the irony that you're now mad at Donald Trump for calling the same media that cheated Bernie Sanders out of a win makes absolutely no sense. So I think Donald Trump definitely gets his facts wrong sometimes, but he'll talk for an hour. He'll say 2 or 3 things that are just kind of wrong, and then they'll talk about that the whole time, and they won't talk about everything else he said that's real. Every politician lies. Every politician makes mistakes, but Donald Trump makes more of an effort to bring the truth. And mainstream media doesn't do that. So I would say Donald Trump is not always completely honest. He makes mistakes, but if I'm supposed to pick a side, if that's what people want, I'm going to say I believe what Donald Trump's saying. All of the news sources that he attacks and that he says are fake news, they are fake news. And it's not me jumping on a train. I've known this since 2008. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that CNN, New York Times, MSNBC, the Washington Post, Politico, and all these other news corporations have a massive political agenda, and it has nothing to do with helping the American people or anybody in the world.